The feet are parallel, shoulder width apart, knees unlocked. Belly's released. Tailbone is hanging. So we want the lower back flat. As you hang that tailbone, chest is natural or neutral. The shoulders are sitting right on top of the rib cage. And the chin is down slightly and in slightly. And all that really means is we want the jaw parallel to the ground. Really what we're wanting to captivate is a nice straight neck. So people tend to have quite a large sway in the lower back and in the neck. So we want to fill those spaces. And fill the lower back out, fill the neck back and out, elongating the spine. More organic way of approaching the standing is the pitch we're going to hang from the string. And the string is at the top of the head towards the back. And we hang out, let that tailbone hang, let the spine dangle long, and consciously let the weight exit freely through the legs and feet. So we hang out, weight entering the ground, mind and breath resting in the belly, and each out breath is a releasing breath. Each time we exhale, we're releasing more and more tension on the out breath. The back, crown of the head floats straight up to the sky while the tailbone enters the ground. And then the arms hanging, feel the weight of the arms and hands pulling the shoulders straight down. Next position is Buddha belly or Buddha ball. So I want to have a sense that the arms are resting on a sphere of energy. So rather than us holding up the arms, I have a sense that the arms are actually being buoyed out, or they're resting on a ball of energy. So the shoulder joints are open and released. Elbows slightly bent. The wrists are virtually straight. The rounded look comes from the bend in the elbows. Want to make sure that we're not pulling back with the upper body, countering the weight of the arms out here in front. So we drop the hips, hang the tailbone, send the entire weight down through the hips, through the legs into the ground. And we work on our awareness of the body, our awareness of the joints. Also mention the knees. The knees tend to pull in, tend to roll onto the arch of the foot, pinning the knees in. So we want the knees directly over the feet, energizing the outside edges of the feet, avoiding the tendency to roll in. And from moment to moment, breath to breath, we're releasing tension, being aware of the tensions that we're holding, and encouraging those tensions to release. Eventually, we want a body that's very empty and open, allowing a free flow of chi through the entire body, including around through the arms. And very, very slowly, hands descend back to the Dantian. Having a sense that you're directing the chi into the Dantian. And letting the arms hang. Background of the head floating directly up, tailbone entering the ground, belly released in the middle. And hands just over your center, and making sure your knees are a fair bit bent as we start with some very slow hip circles. And feel free to change direction whenever you like. And then isolating that movement even more. So think of tailbone circles. So there'll be smaller circles probably, and just isolate it to the tailbone, like you're drawing a circle on the floor with your tailbone. The tailbone goes back to the side, rolls to the front, rolls to the other side, to the back. So very small circles with the hips, as if you're drawing a circle with the tailbone. And slowly come to a centered stop. And then send the mind the other direction, directing the tailbone. And slowly coming to a stop. Now focusing the breath to the lower abdomen from the belly button down. So breathing in, drawing the breath in to below the belly button, feeling the bowl of the hips. Breathe out the lower abdomen. Breathing in, filling from the belly button down. Breathe out from the bowl of the hips, up and out. Isolating and concentrating the breath into the area below the belly button. And slow, small circles over the dantian. Doesn't matter which way you start, slow circles gradually getting bigger. Each circle slightly bigger than the last. Until eventually you're circling the entire abdomen. Send the mind the other direction. The hands will follow, big circles the other direction. Each circle getting a little bit smaller. Gradually coming to a stop just below the belly button. Hang out, weight through the feet, breath in the belly. Be very conscious of the fact that your Laogong points, the center point of each palm, is directly on top of each other, and those points are directly over the abdomen, directly over the dantian point, about 3 inches below the navel. All 3 points lining up. So focusing your mind to that fact, the Laogong points and the dantian point, all 3 lined up directly on top of each other, releasing on the out breath. Slide the hands up right over the belly button. Keeping the hips completely still, hips straight, continue facing forward. So hips don't turn, but we turn the belly button a little bit. So we're turning the waist and keeping the hips virtually where they were and coming back to center and turning gently the other way, turning the belly button, turning the waist, only as far as comfortable. But isolating that movement, hips stay where they are. Breathing comfortably and just isolating that movement. So waist turn, belly button turns, but the hips do not. Good. Take a couple deep breaths, relax, release. Now, a little bit more specific, a little bit more involved. We're going to turn again the belly button as far as comfortable, and then wherever it stops, you then turn the sternum a little further, and it stops where it's comfortable. Then you bring the belly button back and the sternum back. So you turn the belly button as far as comfortable. Then you turn the sternum as far as comfortable. Bring the belly button back, bring the sternum back. So you turn the belly button, the hips stay where they are, and then the sternum turns, and then bring the belly button back, followed by the sternum. Belly button, and sternum. Thank you. And try a couple. So we might want to go on mute. We have some background noise. Not sure if it's dishes or what it is, but it's not sure.
Ruben, can you just do that afterwards? Can you do it afterwards, Ruben? I can't hear.
Okay. And if you go a little wider, hang out from the string. Press into the ground to turn the hips. Keep the belly released and relaxed. Press into the ground to turn the hips. Release into the ground to turn. Release, turn. And then let that drive the arms, being completely equal in your awareness with both arms. One of the things that we want to watch for is that there will be a tendency to pull that arm quite far back and really contract upper back muscles, causing a twisting and a tightening. So the arm just basically stays out from the shoulder, but the hips and waist are turning. So it looks like the arm is going back. So if I come back here, but if I straighten my upper body, so I'm not turning my hips, you see the arm really hasn't gone back. The arm hasn't really traveled behind me, squeezing, tightening those muscles. So it's just the hips and the waist turning. The arms just stay out from the shoulders. Release down, send the weight and turn the hips. Hanging from the string, weight through the feet. And just take a little bit of that waist turning from that exercise we just did. So you turn the hips and let the belly button and sternum turn a little bit more. Just a little bit. Not straining, not really twisting. Just letting some flexibility show itself in the waist and torso. So when you turn the hips, they go a certain distance, belly button goes a bit more, sternum goes a little bit more. And have that work out through both arms, expand out through both arms equally. Very, very gentle turn from the waist. Good. Okay, let's come back to the feet approximately shoulder width. Arms flow forward. We'll do some arm drops to release the shoulders and arms. So feel the weight of your hands and arms. Feel them as being very, very heavy and strings holding them up. And then the strings are cut. Complete, absolute, complete free drop. Complete free fall. So a real exercise in letting go, releasing, surrendering, complete releasing. So releasing exercise, opening, softening the body, and giving yourself over to gravity, letting gravity completely take those arms. Keeping the belly soft. Nice full breathing into the abdomen. Really enjoy the complete release. And then out to the sides, slow and heavy, slow and heavy. Really be conscious of the weight of the arms and hands, and then a conscious release. So challenging yourself, see how much you can let go each time. See if you can let go a little bit more each time. Now arms go out, they swing in front, cross, out, and down. It's almost like a crane is lifting those arms, and then release, swing, and a full complete drop. Craning those arms up, slow, heavy, decide when to release them, they cross, swing out, and a complete drop. One thing to watch out for is that when you drop the arms, a tendency to bring them down, to muscularly slap the legs or bring them down. It's just a free fall. Release, swing, and just let them fall on their own timing, completely on their own. Once you drop from the sides, how much can you just let them swing on their own? Now I'll add a turn to that, hip turn. So when I drop the arms, I turn and then drop. And the next time I'll turn the other way. So I turn and drop. Drop the arms and turn, and back to the front. Let the belly expand when you breathe in. Okay, and then we can add another turn. So we'll turn twice, once, twice, and then a drop. Turn, turn, drop. And again, once we start doing things, we'll tend to control the arms. So watch that you might be getting muscular and controlling a little bit with the arms once you start turning the hips. So it takes a little bit of practice, but once you have the coordination of the movement, you just let the arms go, let them go, let them go. So just try to notice if when you're doing those hip turns, you're kind of controlling those arms a little bit. Just release and swing, swing, drop. So it is a exercise, a challenge in letting go, releasing. Then we can add more hip turns. So this time we'll do four turns. So 1, 2, 3, 4, drop. So you can go on your own time. So 2 hip turns to each side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Spine is still long, tailbone drops. And this time a total of 6 turns, so 3 on each side. Again, try not to hurry it, try not to make it happen. Just turn your hips. And let your arms go. Hanging from the string, knees bent, weight through the ground. Okay, this time swing this way, crossing in front, and you go down for 3 swings, a little bit of a squat, and up for 3 swings. Down for 3 swings, rising for 3 swings. Go at your own pace, breathing in as you sink for 3 swings, breathing out as you rise. So going at your own pace. Let those arms go completely. And then once you come up the next time, just stay up and then give your arms over completely to gravity and let them slowly subside to stillness on their own time. Just letting gravity do that for you as you breathe into the abdomen. Weight freely falling through the legs and feet into the ground. Spine long and open. So the back crown of the head floats up. Tailbone hangs. Knees bent a good amount, turning the hips. So not a weight shift, no weight shift yet. How much can you let those arms go? So again, you're not trying to tap your body. Your arms will naturally tap the body on their own. We're not trying to bring the arms around. Arms will come around eventually. Nothing in the arms. They're wet noodles. Consciously release the abdomen. It's quite important to hang the tailbone, or in other words, make sure the lower back is flat. It's easy to strain the lower back that has the curve. It's tight and foreshortened. Want a long lower back. You want the same thing in the neck. You want the back of the neck pushed back. And release the abdomen. And then a little bit wider with the feet, toes out a little bit, knees out, and we add a weight shift to that. So nose is moving with the tailbone. We want to make sure the heels stay flat throughout. And we want to practice good organic weight shifting. So we're pressing the leg into the ground, pressing the foot into the ground to shift the weight and turn the hips. So this would be not what we want to do, where I'm kind of throwing my upper body around, kind of flinging my weight around in the upper body. It's not so good for the back. It's not good posture. So I release into the ground or push into the ground with one leg, and that turns the hip and shifts the weight for me. And release the abdomen. And then we can turn a bit further by coming up on the toe of one foot and then turning onto the toe of the other foot. So we get a bit more of a turn. Notice if you've tightened up your shoulders a little bit, now that you have larger movement. So notice any tension that may have crept in. And hang from the string, release the belly, release that tension. You may need to go slower or smaller movement to come back to that released, relaxed, open state. So notice when the tension or tightness creeps in, and dial back the speed or the intensity so you can keep that released, relaxed, open body, open joints. Shoulder joints open and released. Spine is long. And then back to flat feet. And then the reverse hip turn. So now we're turning the hip towards the empty leg. Let those arms just hang with gravity. They're only moving because you're shifting the weight and you're turning your hips. But as far as the arms are concerned, They're just hanging straight down with gravity. Release the abdomen. And a little smaller, gradually winding down. Hang out and breathe. Inch your feet in, hang out. Back to the Dantian. Be very conscious of the Laogang points being one on top of the other, that being directly over Dantian point, about 3 inches below the navel. So you're resting your mind and breath below the belly button. Let the arms hang with gravity. Send your mind forward. The mental current flows through your arms. Allow the elbows to take the arms down. So you hang out, weight through the feet into the ground, send your mental intention forward. It sweeps through the arms and allowing the elbows to take the hands down. Try to have that same feeling of the arm swings. So very, very little in the arms. So try to bring the sensations and quality and feeling of a nice, open, loose body into this arm movement. Keeping those arms just as soft, released, and loose as they were before. Let those shoulder joints open as the arms flow forward. Last few classes have been working on continuity, continuousness. If you're very, very soft, released, and open, there's a natural fluidity, continuousness. When you're all the way down, you're already flowing forward. When you're at the top, you're already drifting down. I'm going to change this slightly. So once the arms come up, chest height, they rotate so the palms face the chest, expanding out, flowing back towards each other, and then drifting down. So whenever you're ready, you flow forward, you go at your own timing. Palms face the chest, drifting apart, drifting together and down. So the whole time, shoulders are sitting. In particular, when you rotate here, you want the elbows to continue pointing towards the ground. So when you rotate palms towards the chest, the elbows continue to point towards the ground. So notice if the shoulders creep up at all as you lift the arms, and encourage the shoulders to continue sitting right on top of the rib cage. Shoulders just resting right on top of the uppermost rib. Excellent. Coming back to the Dantian. And count 8 circles in one direction. Whenever you finish those 8 circles, gently switch directions, doing 8 circles in the other direction over the Dantian. Finishing centered stillness right over the Dantian. Good, okay. So one foot in front of the other for basic bow stance. Quick review of Toyus. Hanging from the string. So you release down the front leg, descend the hip back and the weight back. Release down the front leg, descend the hip forward and the weight forward. When you come back, you're sitting into the back hip. Hang from the string, release the abdomen. And remember those loose and open arms and shoulder joints. Let the movement be continuous, absolutely flowing. No stops and starts, no beginning and end points. Flowing continuity in the arms. Let the legs and hips do the work. And if you haven't, we can switch to the other side. Again, as always, feel free to jump in anytime you have any questions or comments. So feel free to hit that unmute button anytime. If you have any questions about any of the specifics, the techniques or concepts, anytime is good. Okay, so again, a bow stance, weights on the back leg, holding the ball. Holding the ball. Shifting forward. So that's serving T or parting horse's mane. Coming back, hold the ball. Shifting the weight back, holding the ball. Again, release down that back leg to turn the hip and shift the weight. Equal awareness through both arms. Eventually you will feel equal chi flow through both arms. But it starts with equal awareness, just mentally being aware of both arms, both sides of the body equally. Or at the very least, noticing how much it's not equal. It's completely normal to not have equal awareness. That would be quite rare. So noticing what arm, what side you're more aware of than the other, and at what points do you become more one-sided in your awareness. And you just fill that out, you even that out with your intention. You notice those little disproportions, consciously, intentionally fill it out, even it out. Soft, released arms and shoulders. And of course, you can switch to the other side if you haven't. So the weight is on the back here, you hold the ball. Parting horse's mane. Hanging from the string, let the weight enter the ground through the leg. The continuous movement of the hips and waist keeps the arms moving perpetually. Okay, now we can also do this changing directions. So focusing on one movement, in this case, parting horse's mane, but we can change the directions. So might want to start together with this the same way, just to get this started. If my left leg is back and I hold the ball, so my left hand's on top, I shift the weight forward, turn the hips for parting horse's mane. Having completed that, I shift the weight back and turn on my right heel. Turn on my right heel, my right hand turns palm down. And as I shift the weight back to my right leg, my left hand is palm up, holding the ball. Step with the left heel over, and then I do parting horse's mane on this side. So now my left leg is forward. So to go back the other direction, I shift the weight back, turning on the left heel. My left hand turns over, but it stays on top. My right hand turns palm up, stays at the bottom. Then I step over and shift the weight, turn the hips. You might need to correct that back foot to the 45, depending on how far you turned on that heel. So then I shift the weight back, turn on the right heel, hold the ball with the right hand high, shift the weight back to the right leg. When I'm ready, I step with the left heel and serving T again, or parting horse's mane. Now we will be traveling one direction when we're doing that. So from time to time, you'll need to shift over a bit. So if you're getting the hang of this, if this is new, you probably have enough to think about and concentrate just with what we explained so far. If this isn't so new for you, you want to focus on hanging from the string, sitting the shoulders, releasing those shoulders and arms, sitting into the hip. You sit back into the hip before you step. So when you shift the weight back and turn on the heel, you sit back into that hip. And then you shift the weight back into the other leg, you sit into that hip. So you're sitting into the quad. Quad is closed, it's bent. And you come from that sitting position. And then see how much you can hang from the string, soften the shoulders and body, and just flow. And if you can use the ground, press into the ground with your leg, that will derive all the power, and you can relax everything else. So hang from the string, press the leg into the ground to drive the weight and the hip turn. Okay. So let's focus on another move, which is actually a combination of 3 moves, which is grass bird's tail. It's 3 moves in one. So we start with, let's say, the right leg forward, and here we are here, as we normally are. So in the set, we do grass bird's tail with the right leg forward. So that's what we're starting with. Shifting back, arm comes back, shifting forward, chase the pulse, or press the wrist, coming back for the push. Then we start again. So the left arm comes back. I'll turn a slight angle so maybe you can see my arms a little bit more clearly. And then you press the wrist. So then once you have this movement, work on all those qualities and principles, hanging from the string, release the abdomen, open the shoulder joints, release soft arms, use the legs and the ground to drive the movement, not the arms, not the upper body. Hang from the string the whole time. Breathe into the abdomen. The elbows are pointing towards the ground. Those shoulders are completely sitting on top of the rib cage. Excellent. Okay, so we can actually do grass bird's tail going in 2 directions, 2 different directions. Now, in the sit itself, we always do it on the right side, right? But for practice, we can work all the moves that we do on one side. For example, single whip, we always do it with the right arm out. And so a lot of moves are like that in the set. But when we're taking moves separately and isolating them, we can actually work the other side as well. It's good to do that. It's good for the brain, and it's good for the wiring to work the other side when you're not doing it in a set. So we can actually do that sequence of grass bird's tail, left and right. So again, you'll probably want to follow me very carefully the first couple times. So we're going to start on the side that we do it normally in the set, right leg forward. So grass bird's tail. Then we're going to shift the weight back, turn on the right heel, right hand on top holding the ball, Shift the weight back to the right leg. When you're ready, step with the left heel. And here we are. It might seem really weird and strange. Palms facing each other. Come back with the right arm. When you go forward, you touch the left wrist. Hands part as you come back for the push. That probably feels really weird and strange. That's tickling the brain. Shift the weight back, turning on the left heel. Left hand stays high, right hand underneath to hold the ball. When you're ready, step with the right heel and in that traditional grass bird's tail sequence. Let those shoulders set. If you're still with my timing, you shift the weight back, turning on the right heel, hold the ball with the right hand high, shift the weight back into the right leg. When you're ready, step with the left heel, and the palms face each other. Then the right hand comes back with the body. Touch the left wrist. Remember to breathe. You might be concentrating pretty hard right now, so release the abdomen and breathe. So I shift back, turn on the left heel, left hand high as I hold the ball. Shift the weight back to the left leg so I can step with the right. Palms face each other. Try a couple more of those if you can, see how you do. Excellent. Okay. Again, let me know if you have any questions or comments. Another move that we can take, pluck out of the set and work on it individually or in isolation. And again, one of the values of doing one particular move, taking one move or one or two moves and isolate it, is you start to get the hang of the move physically, so then you can really start to enter into the principles. You can really start to let the body let go and release, start to really hang the spine, release the abdomen, let the weight enter the ground through the leg. You start to really do that as the body relaxes and lets go, because the body has a sense that it really knows movement, really knows what you're doing. So you can let everything else go and open and release. So that's one of the big values. Not only are you polishing the movement itself, you get a chance to really work on alignment. For example, with parting horse's mane that we were just doing a moment ago, the knee and elbow are in alignment, that leg and arm are in alignment. So minute details in terms of alignment you can work on, of course. But beyond that, once you start to get everything nicely aligned, you can, as I mentioned, really start to release and open the breath, the body, the energy. So you just do something over and over again. Hopefully you got some pretty good form and alignment. Really the principles can start to be accessed for you. You start to open and release and find these things that we are often talking about. So another isolated focus can be Fair Lady Works at Shuttles or Four Corners. Now, rather than doing all four corners, which would be a really good practice in itself, just doing the four corners over and over again would be a fantastic practice. And we'll do that another day perhaps. But because the theme is kind of right now taking one move and repeating it over and over, even if that means doing the other side that we don't always do in the set. So we'll do that with Four Corners or Fair Lady Works at Shuttles. So if we say we start here with the right foot into the right corner, of course what that means then is the left foot should be pointing towards the wall. So we have our 45 degrees. And here we're at one corner. Forward leg is the upper arm. So again, let's take a moment to make sure we're not starting awry. Even though the arm is up, the shoulders are down. So that upper arm, we don't want that shoulder to hike up. We rotate that arm, the shoulder stays down. Left hand is a little bit further than the top hand. Again, shoulders are resting, belly's released. As we stand, slowly stand into the right leg, we cross the left wrist in front of the right. And we look to the left corner, step with the left heel into the left corner. And of course, we'll have to correct our right foot by turning on the right heel. So I should have mentioned with this particular one, we'll be advancing forward. So some of these moves, we can do them in one place. This particular version will be advancing forward. So you'll need some room in front of you. So I stand into my left leg, crossing the right wrist in front. When you're ready, step with the right heel to the right corner, shift the weight forward, turn the hips, correct the back foot, turn on the left heel. Again, once you do a few of these, you can really start to focus on the timing, the coordination of the different parts of the body moving. So everything is coordinated and connected. Notice if you're holding your arms up, lifting your shoulders a little bit, let those shoulders rest right on top of the rib cage. Arms are soft. Maybe I'll do a few coming towards you. So again, when you get to work with one move, see if you can find where the tensions happen. One big place where it will happen, of course, is when you stand into one leg and pick up the other knee and crossing the wrist. That's probably where a lot of tension will come in. So you do the opposite then. Notice that you pull in or up, but then you push down and out. Basically, go in the opposite direction of the tension tendency. Hanging from the string. Notice any pulling in. If you notice any pulling in, see if you can relax outwardly. If you notice any pulling up in the shoulders or anywhere in the body, see if you can press it down. Release it down. Okay, well, let's do one more move that we can work with in an isolating fashion. Kicks. It's going to be the same approach as what we just did with 4 corners, corner to corner kicking, but this time we can do it on the spot. We don't have to be traveling forward. So let's say we're standing on our left leg, we'll be kicking with the right foot. So if we have the left foot pointing straight forward to the wall in front of you, and we'll be kicking to the corner. Then when you bring that right foot down, bring it straight. When you bring it down, not staying to the corner, but landing it straight to the front wall. Then you can pick up the other leg and kick to the opposite corner. And then you just have to take care to put it down straight facing the front wall. Now, in particular, because we're kicking, all those things we mentioned about tension, they're really going to show themselves here. So notice when you're pulling in and pulling up. So maybe make your kick very low, very easy, so you can work on opening the body, releasing the body through the tension. So again, if you're pulling in, you want to relax outwardly, send the breath outward through the body to counter that tendency to pull in. Of course, when you're kicking, you're kicking with the left leg, for example, you want the left arm in front of the cross. Hang from the string the whole time. And allow your body to be open, empty, released, and fill your body with flowing intention. So you're not doing this muscularly so much, but flowing intention moving through your open, empty body. If you want to work on some physical mechanics, physical basics, you want that kicking leg to be directly under that arm. So when you kick out, that forward arm is directly over that kicking leg. So the elbow's not rotated out, the arm is not astray, arm is directly over that kicking leg, that raised leg, other arm is straight out from the shoulder. So again, we need to watch that tendency of pulling back, causing a lot of tension in the upper back. So the arm is just out from the shoulder. So not back with the arm, not back, but right out from the shoulder. So a lot of physical mechanics to work on when we take one move. And try a couple where you're doing a kick with the toe down. That's the other kick, with the toes pointed down. When we kick out, we don't want to lock the knee. So you save the last half inch or so. So whether it's a heel kick or toe kick, top of the foot, we don't want to lock the knee, just like we don't want to lock the elbow. And another thing to work on is the kick drives the arms. The arms are moving, expanding because of the kick. So that's the timing and the mechanics. So arms are not moving separately by themselves. So think of chains or gears connecting the leg to the arms. And when you kick out, that's the mechanics to drive the arms out. So the kick drives the arms. Excellent. Okay, coming back to standard standing. Actually, let's go a little bit wider. Toes out, knees out. A little bit of a turn and swing. So we'll do a little wind down. Dangling that spine long, hanging from the string, letting your weight enter the ground. Again, you're not throwing your body around, pressing into the ground to turn the hip. Okay, inch your feet in. 3 swings down, 3 swings on the way up. See if you can let those arms and shoulders completely release. Completely. Nice deep breaths. Let the belly really expand as you breathe in. Let it empty as you breathe out. The next time you rise up, stay up, and then just give the arms over completely to gravity, and just noticing gravity, being with the process of gravity, gradually, slowly pulling your arms to vertical stillness, just being with that process. Weight through the feet, arms hanging long and heavy. Rest your hands directly over the Dantian. 8 circles, slowly one direction. And whenever you're ready, you do slow circles the other way 8 times, both the same size. Coming to a stillness directly over the Dantian. The back of the neck is straight, lower back is straight, pushed out. Weight falling freely through the legs and feet. Belly released, shoulders sitting right on top of the rib cage. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Long breath out through the mouth, and release your hands. Let them swing ever so naturally, breathing normally, and just being with the process of gravity as gravity itself brings the arms to centered stillness, completely on its own time, as you hang out and breathe. Notice your weight. Notice the belly. Notice your arms and shoulders. Notice your energy.